Rand Water's extensive infrastructure maintenance drive has now commenced, prompting concerns from local businesses and I imagine residents as well. The 5-week operation will impact Johannesburg Water reservoirs and towers interconnected with the bulk supplier. Newzroom Afrika's Veronica Makhoali joins us now from Auckland Park in Johannesburg to tell us, Veronica, about the impact of these disruptions on local businesses.
Well, Michelle, so far Rand Water has really boasted a successful maintenance operation so far, having started on Saturday in Makhoali City to, of course, fix that F5 pipeline. They managed to complete that 9 hours ahead of schedule. And so far we know that Rand Water has said to residents that they will not be really feeling the impact of the maintenance operation just yet, and that maybe perhaps in a few days' time we'll be seeing that system coming under strain. But of course, this is all about, whether or not, residents will be adhering to those measures that they've also asked for residents to save water, to also make sure that they are prepared and not necessarily panicking. We've been speaking to residents across Johannesburg today, and now we are, of course, at a strip here of businesses along in Auckland Park, where we're just trying to get a sense from some of the business owners about their preparations for the water cuts. And if you could just join us now, we're going to go inside a hair salon where you'd know, Michelle, that of course the usage of water here is quite extensive, whether it is being, to do the hairstyles, or whether it is of course also to keep the hygiene levels in this business, up to standards. We know that of course that these water interruptions may have a very, very, very big implication on just how profits are made in some of these businesses. But we are now joined by the salon's manager, Mr. Rooney, who's been really taking us through their preparation ahead of this maintenance project. They've been telling us about how they have been actually reducing water in the salon, making sure that they are able to continue to give the services that they need to, of course, their customers, while also being water conscious and knowing that they have to keep their business running, but they also have to be part of the community that makes sure that each and every household and business here can have access to water during, of course, that extensive operation. I'm going to talk now to the manager, Mr. Rooney. If you can just come forward and join us. You are live on Newzroom Afrika on channel 405. I can see you filling up some of those buckets. You've spoken to me as well about the ways in which you'll be running your operations here. Just tell us a little bit more about the preparations ahead, of course, of that imminent, moment where we're expecting water supply to be interrupted.
Okay, thank you for having me. Yeah, the problem is I just got the information that they'll be out of water from Wednesday. So in this case, I decided, okay, let me put some water together in case if water is not coming, we can be able to be using. So I get some buckets here, trying to do some fill-ups in case water will not be enough, we'll be using it. And also, we got a toilet here as well, that will be flashing. So we try as much as possible to keep enough water for our clients. And this is gonna be a bit of disturbing, but we'll try as much as possible to save much water for our people. So that is what is happening now.
And do you often find that water cuts in the area, or perhaps maybe water interruptions, do they often, cause your business maybe perhaps to close sooner, or can you not offer all the services that you can when you find that there are some interruptions in this area?
Yeah, definitely. But you see, using water this way to wash clients' hair is a bit difficult, because coming from the tap, truly, it makes the work very easy. But taking the water up and down is not that comfortable, but we try our best. Sometimes when water goes, it takes time to come, but not that much. So now, this is the preparation that we're having for now, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for your time, and of course all the best for those 5 long weeks where, of course, Rand Water will be doing a very necessary improvement of our water infrastructure, and we'll be, of course, keeping an eye on such areas, residents, businesses, throughout those 5 weeks, making sure that the water utilities are supplying residents and business with the necessary alternative supply of water. And also a very important lesson here about the water consumption and residents' responsibility to make sure that supply is still available. Back to you, Michelle.
Veronica, before we let you go, I mean, the advice from Rand Water to residents, for example, has been to not store water. But I mean, in a context where I'm not sure what the plan is insofar as water tankers are concerned, but if water is switched off for hours at a time, surely we need to have a backup plan, not only as small businesses, but as households.
Absolutely, Michelle. And in fact, the issue of stockpiling is not just about, whether or not residents will be using tankers. It's also the issue of the fact that with the little water that will be available, the issue of stockpiling is that it often leaves reservoirs, dry, or they use water faster than the utility can replenish it. And that's often why we end up having those dry taps that affect hundreds, if not thousands of homes. And so this is really when we're going to have to come together as residents and communities, not just in regards to making sure that there's water supply, but also increasing that education around water consumption, increasing, of course, the efforts by not just Rand Water, not just Joburg Water, but perhaps maybe even seeing a partnership with private companies about how we can make sure that there is enough access to alternative sources so that we don't necessarily see many people stockpiling, many people taking away from areas such as here in Auckland Park, Brixton, Coronationville, which are known as those high-lying areas that often really suffer the worst of these intermittent water supply issues.
Veronica, are people telling you that there's been adequate communication on the part of Rand Water insofar as just how much this will impact residents, how much it will impact small businesses like the one you're at now, the hair salon you're at now, and what kind of steps people can take to mitigate the challenges?
Well, I can tell you that there is a visual effort by Rand Water as well as the municipality to ensure that residents are aware. In fact, even if we step out of the salon right now, there is a water JoJo tank that is stationed outside here. But whether or not residents are actually understanding of the fact that they are about to face 5 weeks of an intermittent supply, I can tell you, Michelle, that we're not really getting that sense. We saw that in very, crucial areas such as Brixton, residents were aware that there will be some supply challenges. But when it comes down to the everyday person who's now has to change the way that they run their households, perhaps, or even the way that they run their business, I can tell you that there is still a sense of lack of communication in regards to what they are supposed to do to make sure that they can survive the next few weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. Veronica Makhoali, let me thank you for your time this afternoon. Difficult times for businesses who in this economy are already struggling to stay afloat.